We are going to continue some artwork here for the Kobold Monk Way of the Four Elements. I just need a moment here to punch some signals. And so while I am hitting the Twitter and the Discord just to let the posse know what up, I would appreciate if you would hit subscribe, like, and check out the links below. I dive into my Twitter to stay up to date on what I got going on, as well as check out this book that I'm currently working on, which is already published on the DMsGuild, as well as all the other collective works that I've done involving mana mechanics, 5-color, character design, adventure design. I'm almost done here, kicking through some stuff, and tap, 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 and then let's put on the clock 50 minutes. So I've got 50 minutes here, and actually I've got about 45 minutes. Yeesh. Got 45 minutes for me to play. I'm gonna give ourselves 42. 42 minutes for me to get some stuff done before I gotta kick out the door. So let's go ahead and just dive in on this. Let's see. Continuing where we were from yesterday, we're just doing some toe cleanup here. Some line artwork. I'm gonna jump into this useful tool that I built. Build this like this. Yesterday's meetings went really well. We are almost done with scene 2 for the Eberron campaign that I've been streaming in the mornings. You could see in today's stream that we were working on the map for the dungeon. That's in Act 3, and the destruction it goes through during that process. And we're gonna have a playtest for that this Thursday. See if it's fun as built. I can tell my head's tilting into that screen a lot. Let's clean my life up a little bit along with the art. I don't know why I'm micromanaging this so hard. It's hardly what I need to be doing. So let's back out of that. I'm pretty happy with how this piece sits, but what I want to do is work on a bit. Yeah, like that. Here we can adjust this. I had myself a bad tumble while I was running, and I ended up tearing the tendon that's on the bottom of the foot. It's called plantar fasciitis. It's incredibly swollen, and since it doesn't have anywhere to go because it's hugging between the bone and callus, it hurts like hell. So I'm going to be taking off here in just a little bit to go to a doctor for them to start providing me with solutions on how to fix my freaking foot. Holy Hannah, it was pretty painful. Would not recommend. 0 stars. Do not. So that's got me limping around a little bit, but I had made a commitment to put on some art today, to work on this, and I am really, really happy with this piece. Just procedurally, I'm happy with it because just the style and the production speed that I've been getting out of this particular piece is providing me hope and promise for the truck ton of art that I'm going to have on me probably starting in May. So the Eberron campaign, I've been picking at the art, I've been picking at the maps, and I did a little bit of artwork, but until I actually do the layouts for the pages, I'm not going to really know what kind of space and dimensions I'm going to need for the actual page layouts. So I've been wetting my whistle on new art production using this piece as an excuse, and it is leading me in really every time I pick up a new project, I discover new options and new ways to manipulate these tools that I've built that I think ends up just having better work, better times. It's the production time that really kills me the most. But I would say all this work I've been doing on the DMsGuild has been doing a lot of great lifting in my ability just to produce in general. Is just the crushing demand of a product not being able to be released until the artwork is done is a very compelling motivator for me. I'm really happy that I've not wanted to shirk in the quality of my content for the sake of speed, because what's going to end up happening is if I keep at this for another 4 or 5 years, I'm going to be able to move. I'm going to have a clip of production that's going to allow me to realistically start doing stock art while I'm actually building books, like quality, good, high level, full color, cover worthy stock art. And that is ultimately where I want to be, but it just takes the amount of proficiency and skill and mastery over the subject matter that is involved in fantasy games is so broad. It's not like I can just get by on making spaceships. You got to know like how to do like everything. You need to have all the logistics, all the logic, all the math and the tech that goes along with what is being depicted in role-playing games for you to be able to do it effectively. And that is a very broad brush of things that need to I need to have in my wheelhouse for me to be as truly versatile as I want. It's exciting and it's intimidating. I did not realize when I was 12 and I took interest in artwork that the amount of information that I would need to have to just effectively work within the genre would effectively make me a sage in medieval and multiple cultures and geopolitics, you name it. Like all this stuff is a significant factor in role-playing games, especially fantasy role-playing games, where there's so much European culture cloning, and then if you actually try to dive into other cultures, you need to make sure you really know what the hell you're talking about. Otherwise, you're going to come across looking like a jerk. So it is an exciting challenge. I love it. I might be back on later on, like late on tonight, like bedtime stream. I haven't done a bedtime stream probably, oh, I don't know, probably in a week. So I'll probably do a bedtime stream for this and plan on publishing it tomorrow. Pretty good, Kearney. Pretty good. This brush that I'm using is pretty good. You can see it's if I start here, it's more smudgy on the back. It's got a sharp tip. Sorry, let's do it like that. It's got a sharp tip that pushes, but the back end of it is more smudgy. So like if I start here and go like this versus here, you can see that this edge is much more crisp than the edge here where everything kind of gets pushed as a mass. So it's a good little brush. I just use a normal hard round brush for yep. What does it say? It says hard round, 3 pixels. That's what I've been using. And then I got my wedge smudge, which is on a rotator using my Cintiq art pen. It spins in place, so I have more mastery over how I manipulate the lines. And so if you're familiar with my stuff, you know pretty much how I roll. And then I'll take a color and I'll drop it onto the form, and then I smudge it into the object. 80% strength on this smudge tool. It's stiff, so it takes a lot of a high percentage to be able to get it to push around at all. And I can curve this out. And let's see. Gotta grab that darker bit. And we're going to build a new layer so that I can come in here and start working on this tail. So we'll work this this darker, this lower value reddish tone on the tail, the external part, before we go back into the softer underbelly part. And we'll probably have a scaling, a brush to for us to stipple scales onto this form so that it's not just so uniform in appearance. That'll take a little time for us to put into place. Right now we are just focusing on the shape and form of this guy's arms, the back of his neck, getting this stuff in place, working just on where the darker shadows are for this character's form. Forgive me while I say form like 40 times, 40 times. We're looking on time. 39. Okay, we're doing good. hell am I listening to? Canyon by Virya. I like Virya. Virya is new to me. Kind of has a modernized Aphex Twin feel to it a lot of the time. Easy peasy. It's pretty good. Who are you? Pigeons. Huh. Nice. Nice. What next? Let's just merge that down. Just to make a statement, I guess. Let's get into this. There we go. Switch to this cloud brush. It smudges down pretty good. Like, subscribe, click on the book link that I have down in my description. I got a lot of stuff here, and I'm going to be punching out, like all the art in my books they're all my art, which is one of the main things that motivated me to being on DMsGuild in the first place, or just to get into third-party content production in general. Is that it was an opportunity for me to make cool art, and so all my books are 100% previews, so you can look at it. Please do. The Tap on Tap Burn books are under renovation right now. Like I've gotten better ideas for layouts and how to manage, how to organize the data. Plus my design sensibilities have changed a bit over the couple years. Some of the mechanics that I have in there, I just don't think jive anymore, that I need to clean up. Plus there's new Strixhaven stuff and Theros campaign on top of the man, I'm happy with that. On top of the Ravnica campaign stuff, which was what was originally available when I published Tap on Tap Burn, but now there's more campaign settings that utilize MTG Magic that I can make comments and add some basic mechanics for. On top of what already exists for Ravnica. I'm pretty happy. I am pretty happy with where things are going for me right now. Got about 2 years before D&D 5.5 comes out. They say it's going to be compatible, so I suspect most of the work that I put out on DMsGuild will need only minimal changes, but I'm fully expecting to go back through and sorry, I'm not on screen. Hi, time for coffee. Not on screen, time for coffee. Yeah, fully expecting to have to go back on and make some changes to the stuff that I've done. So I'm pretty happy with where I'm situated right now. God, that coffee tastes like ice cream for some reason. I have no idea why. It's just 7-Eleven grounds. It's hardly anything special, but it's got this strong macadamia flavor to it. I'm really digging that. Ooh, hell yeah. Okay, so what'll happen next is I will Hey, I'm going to make sure this is saved. It looks like it just crashed. So now I get to relaunch it. Good, everything got preserved. Come back in here. Let's grab some of these. Right, highlights, interesting. Merge this down, create a new layer. It's 1250. I've still got a little time left. Whew, not bad. Not bad. I'm going to go ahead and chance locking that down. That's foolish of me to do that. It is just flat out foolish for me to do it at this stage. But I wanted the challenge. It's foolish to bond that because it's texture that I'm overlaying onto the form of the tail, even though I haven't locked down 100% what the actual curvature and form of the tail is. It's a bad idea to decal texture. Like, you do your form first, and then you lay in your decals and your stickers and your this side up and emblems and buttons and filigree. You put all that stuff in there after you know what the form is actually going to do, because then you understand what the curvature of the object actually is that's going to modify how decals and texture is going to drape across the object. So by merging this layer, this decal layer over the form while I'm still working on the form, adds additional challenge. Like, I was looking for an additional challenge in this piece. Like, I was really looking to challenge myself. Not really. But I don't know. I literally do not know why I insisted on merging that layer down. But it looks like it's turning out okay. Like, if I were to try to put in scales right now onto this tail, that would be a bad idea, because I'm still trying to figure out, like scales are the worst, because they're all imbricated and overlap. I found out the word the other day, imbricated. That means overlapping like shingles, and no one cares, except that I've been looking for a term to explain how the exploit system works in the Martial Mana, the Martial Powers book that I've been developing, because there are multiple instant effects, like spend a mana, like you get a lot of mana. So you spend a mana and you get like plus proficiency bonus, like gain expertise in investigation for your next check. really one shot, like instant use things for skills, kind of like bardic inspiration, but instead of having a small stash of inspiration points to distribute to your team for them to decide when they will use at a later time. This is, I want a bonus to my proficiency check right now, or I want a bonus to my my attack roll right now. And so these are literal instant effects where, as part of the roll, not even as an action or any kind of action economy, but just simply as part of the roll, you're going to spend mana to gain this boost. And so it's really important that, because there's like maybe 15, 16 different types of boosts that you can get just on skill checks. So if you had a system that allows you to stack all of those things together, it would become like 3E, ridiculously high modifiers, but using the bound accuracy of 5E. It would not jive. So the concept of imbrication is that if I'm going to spend 3 mana to gain 3, like if I had 3 mana abilities that allowed me to boost, say, stealth, all three, like 3 different abilities that did different modifications to stealth, and each of those stealth modifications is add plus D8 to your die roll, kind of like a battle master has a superiority die, or how a bard has an inspiration die. When used, add D blank, and D blank improves as you gain levels. But if you have 3 abilities that all do different things, oh yeah, and by the way, add your superiority die to your stealth check, well then that's gonna be like 3d8 or 3d10 you're adding to a skill check, and it gets ridiculous. So the concept of imbrication, and I don't know if that's the right term or not, but basically what it is that you roll 3d8, but you keep the best. And this would overlap with spells like Bless, Pass Without Trace, as well as Bardic Inspiration. It's these die modifiers. When a die modifier goes into your skill check, instead of having every single ability modify your skill check, it's you have multiple dice, pick the best one that's going to modify your die. And as you gain levels, the bonuses from this die improves. But this prevents you from unnecessarily stacking up mana abilities. Like, I'm going to go shop all the mana abilities that allow me to increase my stealth skill roll specifically so that I can have a plus 45 to my stealth check. It's like, it doesn't work. There's a lot of super cool things we can do with mana abilities that pop bonuses to proficiencies, initiative, attack rolls, armor class bonuses. But if you have to like, damage is stuff that can stack and that can accumulate. But other things that are determined success or fail off of a d20 die roll, those you can't just have infinite stacking on that. And I think it was a mistake, and hopefully we'll see a change in culture with 5e when they come out with 5.5 to say, yeah, you can't have a truck ton of abilities just stacking up on a single die roll. That was not intentional, and let us fix that now with these new rules, and put some limits on how useful Bardic Inspiration can be in conjunction to in the other forgotten, what is it called? Forgotten Lore, the Lore Hold spell that gives you bonuses to proficiency checks on top of any other bonuses that you get. It's just there can be sensible limits put in place. It's just they don't have any mechanical language that talks about how to limit that stuff, which is what imbricating is. And I don't know if that's the right term. If any of you guys can think of a better term than imbrication for as a term, that means like if I have 3d8, I'm going to take the best of those 3. It's like super advantage for die rolls that are not d20s. So I can't just call it advantage.
I don't see an elegant way to call that mechanic advantage when advantage is already established as modifying your d20. It would be confusing for me to say gain advantage with your d8, roll it 3 times instead of once, and take the best result. Like that's just, it's a little clumsy. But that's the mechanic. That's the touchstone that a lot of these exploit abilities, these instant effects for marshals are calibrated around. So I need to find a term that makes a lot of sense for that. I just haven't figured it out yet. So there's that. I'm going to add a new layer. And it is 1:02 here in Seattle, so I am coming close to the end of this shift where I am going to go get my footwork done, finish out my day, and then quite possibly come back and do bedtime stream to continue this project. So pimp. So pimp. Looks pretty good. Yeah, I mean, that's progress. Holy Hannah. You're looking good, dude. You are looking pretty good, dude. I have no idea why I'm doing this. probably not what I want to do. I'm going to need to put some sort of something back there, but I'm not sure what it is yet. But yeah, I anticipate cleaning up the these bracers, the feet, scales on the tail and on the arms and on the face, fixing that flame so it looks a little more flamey like you're used to me doing. And then we'll put in some flamey highlights. Then we'll drop in a background. There's my timer. So that's my time for the day, guys. I suspect I'm going to be back on... How about dismiss? Thanks, dog. Yep, I'm going to be back on probably this evening for maybe an hour or less. I'm thinking this is going to be done, at which point I can load it into the Word document and then export it as a PDF and then reload it on the DMsGuild so it's updated like this. So you can untap key for any number of effects that you're sustaining at any time during your turn without requiring an action. Doing so burns the tapped key, dismisses the effects, and if the key was locked, your max key limit is restored by the amount of locked key that you untap. Locking key. While sustaining an effect that targets yourself, you can choose to lock the tapped key as part of casting the spell or as a bonus action during your turn. Effects sustained by locked key don't require concentration checks, and they don't count towards your concentration DC if you're sustaining other effects that do. Locking key reduces your max key limit by a number equal to the amount of key locked. You can't reduce the number below 0. For example, a 13th level monk has a max key limit of 4. He's a half caster in this system. So if you lock 3 key to sustain fly when using Ride the Wind discipline, you reduce your max key limit by 3 while this While this key remains locked, you could tap or burn only 1 key, such as to use the Sweeping Cinder Strike discipline to cast Burning Hands as a first level spell, but not as a second level or a higher spell. Nor could you use the Path of Tranquil Steps discipline to cast Pass Without Trace, requiring 2 key. Of course, does not count against your concentration DC, and casting a spell as a bonus action during your turn. Effects sustained by lock key don't require concentration checks, and they don't count towards your concentration DC if you're sustaining other effects that do. Locking key, I should probably highlight. Yeah, I can improve that text a little bit. If you lock key, you're reducing your max key limit. You can't cast spells. You're limiting what level of spell you can cast by locking it, but it can't be disrupted. Pretty impressive. I think I need to include that in the text here, which probably means I need to push Kobold down a little bit. Probably something like this. So a little bit extra space. But yeah, I'm going to have to point that out. But yeah, I'm really happy with this. The untapping mechanic's a pretty big change from the original document, but I think it's a more sustainable model. Sustain, and it feels right. So anyway, I'm out of here, guys. I really appreciate you. Like, subscribe, check out my books, check out all the artwork that's in them. I really appreciate you. Check out my Twitter, share it. If you know anyone who's colorblind, send them this way. If you're colorblind, doesn't matter. Anyone can paint in color. Catch you later.